みとめ Hello, and thank you for watching. Konnichiwa. Please call me Michinari. I am a inquirer into the path of the Kami, an interpreter of the Kami. And today, I would like to talk about this path of the Kami and what the Kami are. Coming to the path of the Kami in English is not an easy thing. I think of all the things that Japan can teach about its beautiful culture, its very deep, rich culture, the path of the Kami is the most intrinsic part of Japan that Japan has to offer to the world. And the difficulty in that comes with language. And being able to understand this path of the Kami, being able to understand it directly, requires an understanding of Japanese itself and a deep, special understanding of Japanese. And so what I would like to try to express in today's video is, as much as possible, a direct connection to understanding this most important word in the path of the Kami, which is Kami itself, the meaning of Kami. And when I said that understanding the Japanese language on a level that goes even beyond just the language is really necessary to fully understanding these teachings, is connecting to one very incredible, wonderful, and very deep part of the path of the Kami called spirit words, kotodan, spirit words. In spirit words, each sound of the Japanese language contains not just a meaning that goes much, much deeper than a simple word, but actually a living spirit. Each sound of the Japanese language emits and creates, gives birth to this spirit of the word that it's giving. And so when we say the word Kami, what exactly are we referring to? With these things, these teachings, these very special aspects of the path of the Kami, I think what's really very important is not trying to translate these keywords into something. It can be done, but it leads to very easy misinterpretations. For example, the Kami, trying to translate this word Kami into God. I think it just doesn't work because, especially in English, when you bring up the word God, you immediately think of many things, many connotations, many connections coming from this word God that is embedded in the Western mind. And so Kami needs to be understood as Kami. And what Kami is Ka is the spirit word for something that is hidden, that is not revealed, that cannot be seen. In the Japanese language, there are many words that begin with Ka that express just this very point. For example, kaze. Kaze is wind, the wind. The wind is something we cannot see at all, but something that we can feel every time the wind blows. We know it exists, even though we can't see it. Kaori. Kaori is smell or an aroma. Again, something we cannot see, but when we smell the beautiful smell of incense, of a flower, something in nature, we know without a doubt it exists, and it's beautiful and has a wonderful energy to it. And so, coming to understand these things that cannot be seen, bring it to a higher level where you come to understand energies that cannot be seen in some body or in something, but exist in the space that we are in. I think when you come to be able to feel those energies existing is when you really come to understand what the kami are. Because ka are these invisible yet existing things, and mi is their body, the thing that they are existing in, which is unseen. So the kami are these vessels of energy that are existing, that are creating this entire world and cosmos around us, yet cannot be seen. That is what the kami are. And so the path of the kami that I have encountered and become connected with here in Japan over this past decade and more now, this path of the kami is the connection and the teachings and the energy that commences with the very beginnings of the universe itself, with the very first mentioned kami, Ame no Minakanuchi. Ame no Minakanuchi, this kami is the beginnings of energy itself. If we think of our existence as being made up of cells and things smaller than cells, photons, Ame no Minakanuchi is the energy lying in the very center of these photons. Ame no Minaka. Minaka is in the center, in the divine center. And what lies in that center, that Minaka, is Ame. Ame is the most primordial, essential, originating form of energy, is the meaning of Ame. It's the energy that fills the universe that has yet to become light or heat or anything save for the energy in its most primordial form. And when that energy becomes active into something that is going to become like a photon, is where we have Nuchi. Nu is the word for zero, yet there is no real concept of zero in Japanese, in Japan. There is no zero. There's always something that is beginning to originate. The beginnings of something is this Nu. And that becomes Chi. Chi is energy itself. It's the beginnings of materialization. So this primordial originating energy of Ame that lies at the very center, Minaka, of things, is what gives rise to Nuchi. Energy coming out of an almost nothingness. And almost nothingness, yet still a something, is Ame no Minakunuchi, the very beginnings of energy. And then as that energy begins to grow, expand, and evolve, taking on positive and negative aspects what we sometimes call yin and yang, rising, heating up, falling, cooling down, this spiral, which is becoming materialized on the one half, becoming invisible once again to become materialized again, which is symbolized by the Magatama symbol of Japan, materializing and then becoming invisible again. This cycle of positive and negative, which becomes a spiral, which then becomes a cosmos and expands, and then becomes more particularized, more specialized into a galaxy, and more specialized still into a star system, like the one that we existed, revolving around our star. And then planets like ours, where life can come to be. This continuing path from the beginnings of energy, that energy manifesting, becoming as vast as the universe itself, and then gradually condensing into a galaxy, into stars, countless stars, and then about each star, a star system with planets revolving around it. This slowly condensing and particularizing process, evolution, that all begins from the originating point of Ame no Minakuchi, and then continuing as it does along this line of evolution of energy itself is the path of the Kami. And coming to learn of this path, to study what it has to teach, is coming to understand how the universe itself was created, how the energies at work in the universe, in stars, in life itself, is actually working, is the teachings of the path of the Kami. And they can be found in some books that exist, but for the most part remain hidden, untranslated, unpublished, unavailable. But they are books that specialized books, written in a very unique spiritual way that I discovered at a small shrine here in Japan, that I've been studying, pursuing, translating these past 10 years, and that I have learned from, and learned this way of Kami from, that is unbelievable and wonderful. And that is the way of Kami that I hope to share with you here on this channel of Michinaris. So thank you for listening today. Thank you for listening to this talk. ご縁に感謝しています。I hope to see you again. Thank you. ありがとうございます。